Hi, my name is Nick, and today I'm going to show you guys how to set up all of your notifications within Microsoft Teams. There's actually a lot more functionality here than you might believe, and then you can customize all of the notification experiences within the application. So if you find this useful, do go ahead and click the like button for me. And if you're new to the channel, go ahead and subscribe. By subscribing, you'll be kept up to date with all of the videos and content that we put out here on That Office Guy. And with that said, let's jump on over to Microsoft Teams and dive right into how to adjust your notification settings for Microsoft Teams. Fantastic. Right, so here we are just inside Microsoft Teams. We're in That Office Guy's team general channel. And what we're going to do is we're talking primarily about notifications. And whenever you get mentioned or new posts are happening, etc., you're basically getting inundated with notifications within the application and outside of the application. And today I'm going to show you just about how to go about doing this in a way that you can customize for your own personal preferences. So what we're going to do is we're going to head over to the avatar in the top right hand corner here. We're going to give that a click. We're going to come down to settings and we're going to give settings a click. Right, so from settings, what we want to do is we want to open up the notification section just here, which is the third option on the left hand side. From there, first thing that we're going to do is take a look at some of these headers and what they are all about, and then dive into adjusting them to suit our personal preferences. So email is the first thing to talk about here. So emails can be problematic when you have a large organization and lots of notifications coming through. And basically any missed activity emails, you have the ability to adjust how those emails are sent through to you. In this example here, by default, it's actually selected once every hour, which is far too often for me personally. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose an option here. Obviously, you can have it as soon as possible, every 10 minutes, once an hour, which is the default, once every 8 hours, daily or off. So personally, I prefer the daily option. So if there's anything I've missed, that'll be sent through to me on a daily email. The better way to go for a lot of people though, in larger organizations, is to turn off the email notifications altogether. It's a bit of a pain having those email notifications if you're really just using Microsoft Teams every day anyway. But I like to make sure I have at least a daily summary of everything that potentially I've missed going on. So I usually flick between the two of those. I have it off for certain periods and on daily otherwise. Okay, so appearance and sound, right? So here are two options. We have the show message preview, and we can have that on or off. We can play sounds for notifications, and we can have that on and off as well. So this is actually quite a useful thing. If you have a lot of potential private messages, in your chat feed, for example, having that toggled off actually means quite a bit. That way, anyone passing by isn't necessarily going to be knowing what you've been talking about with an individual. So that's quite a useful feature there as well. And likewise, I prefer to have everything in silent mode myself, and normally I use the volume in Windows, but you do have the option here to turn those off if needs be. So for me, I'm going to have them both off. I personally don't need them on, so I will turn those off. So and here we have Teams and channels, right? So you'll get desktop and activity notifications for all activity, mentions and replies, or custom. Okay, so we can click on custom here, and in here we can see all of the custom things that we can do with regards to communications, right? So all teams and channels, personal mentions. Here we can show in feed only or show in a banner and a feed. So everything by default here is actually banner and feed, with the exception of trending. Trending is only to be shown in a feed, or we can turn it off altogether. But I think it's quite handy to have them on. But sometimes a banner just is not necessary, right? So we can go through and adjust those. Personal mentions, sure. Team mentions, maybe I'll just have that in a feed. Replies to conversations, yeah, definitely want that. And replies to conversations I've replied to. Yeah, okay, I'll keep that. Likes and reactions, yep, that's pretty good. And trending only in a feed. So you can see how I adjusted the Teams mention there specifically, but there's lots of other things that we can do. So then shown in and pinned channels, right? So all post notifications. This is currently off, right? So notify me every time there's a post in a channel. Now this is important. Obviously this is off currently, but actually you might want to see everything in a feed, so you don't miss anything for your pinned and shown channels. So that's actually a really useful feature. So currently it's off, but actually showing it in a feed is not a bad idea. And obviously it can include replies if you would like. Channel mentions notify me if each time this channel is mentioned. So straight away from here, what we can do is we can have a look and we say show it as a banner or a feed only, or turn it off. And so I'm going to leave it like that, and then let's hop back to the settings here. So that's our custom teams and channel section. Then we have chat, right? So here we can edit the chat notifications. So for app mentions, we get it in a banner and a feed. Replies are just a banner. Likes and reactions are a banner and a feed. So again, we can show these just in feeds or in a banner and a feed. So lots of different ways that you can go about doing these. Replies are just banner, or you can turn replies off. And we can turn those off as well. So I'm going to leave those as they are. I don't mind those ones so much. Meetings, so we can click edit on meetings. Here we can get a meeting started notification. I have that in a banner currently, and meeting chat notifications, mute until I join or send a message, or just mute or unmute. So chat notifications are quite important, and that's chat within the meetings. Okay, so when a meeting is going on, you can mute the chat notifications, or unmute the chat notifications, or just mute it until you joined the meeting, or / send a message, which is really useful. So people, let's click on that. So people manage the status notifications, right? And we can add people. So follow a person's status and get notified when they appear available or offline. And this is really, really useful. So if you've got some management and you want to make sure you know when they're available, when they're not available, you can add them in the list here. Likewise, employees, if you wanted to add them in, you could do that as well. And you can keep track of where people's status is, which is a really useful feature. And then under other here, we can click this and we can get, when someone new joins the team, we want to know about that. Do you want a banner in a feed? Do you want it in a feed only? Or do we even want to know at all? It really depends on how busy your organization is, but really useful feature nonetheless. Definitely one to be watching out for. And those are the notifications that we can adjust in Microsoft Teams. And some of the really big heavy hitters are definitely the email ones. You want to sort out the email side of things. That's always a bit of a problem, in specifically, when you're getting a lot of activity. You don't want that being coming through every hour. So daily is probably what I would recommend, or turning it off completely if you use Microsoft Teams every day anyway. And those are your notifications, guys. Hopefully you found that useful and informative. It's a pretty straightforward process, just going through and customizing those settings for yourselves. So if you did find it useful, then definitely do go ahead and hit that like button for me. It really does mean a lot to the channel. And if you're new here, go ahead and subscribe. By subscribing, you'll be kept up to date with all of the videos that we do here for That Office Guy. And with that said, we hope you have a fantastic day, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.